YouTube family. Lisa Romano here, the Breakthrough Life Coach, and today we're going to talk about the narcissistic breakup and the loneliness that we can sometimes feel after we break up with a narcissist. Now, it is normal when we have a breakup to grieve, and it's very, very essential that we allow ourselves to grieve when we have a significant loss in our life. And yes, even when we are coming out of a really troubling and dysfunctional relationship, just because the relationship was unhealthy doesn't mean that we didn't get attached inside that relationship. We get attached to unhealthy people all the time, especially if we come from dysfunctional homes. You know, not always. I mean, there are those of us who don't really have terribly dysfunctional backgrounds, but we still tend to attract dysfunctional people. So if part of your character is that you like to help people, or you like to fix people, or you see the best in people all the time, and you are not put off by helping people, and there are some people out there that don't want to take on projects in relationships, and I have to tell you, my children are, well, at least two of them, my children don't look to take care of other people's feelings. It's absolutely amazing, because me growing up, I would attract the sickest, most neediest person, friend, boyfriend, you name it. I would attract them into my experience. I know that I had antenna for people who needed a lot of help. And what I did was I jumped in because I saw myself as a fixer. And I also was raised thinking that I wasn't good enough, which is definitely a codependent trait. And I thought that if people needed me, and I would find worth in that, right? And so I attracted people who needed me. So guess what ends up happening? You end up taking on these projects of people. So if you're somebody who has attracted difficult people into your experience, and now years later, or months later, or weeks later, you're discovering that perhaps the person that you attracted into your experience is a narcissist or is on the narcissistic spectrum. So what does that mean? Have you attracted somebody into your life that doesn't care what you think, doesn't care what you feel, whose agenda it is to not hear you, whose agenda it is to minimize you, who discards you when you disagree with them, abandons you, withdraws from you when you would disagree with them, abandon and discards you as a way of punishment, criticizes you, withholds his love, even sex, or women do it too. They withhold sex when they're pissed at you, when you don't agree with them, when you don't validate their perception. So it's important that we realize that if we've attracted somebody in our experience who cannot mirror back empathy, who does not have the ability to see us, who does not have the ability to respect our position, even when we don't agree with them. Now, in all fairness, we have to be able to do the same. So if I want someone to be able to hear me, and I want someone to appreciate that I might not agree with him or her, doesn't mean I don't love them. It just means that through the perception that through the lens that I perceive life through, I am not resonating with their particular opinion on this matter. Then I have to be able to accept when people aren't willing to accept or have a different opinion than me, and not fall apart. And I have to be willing to not withdraw and not punish people because somebody doesn't agree with me. So that's what we're shooting for. We're shooting for this sense of, this reciprocal relationship. I see you, you see me, I have empathy for you, you have empathy for me. I can validate you, you can validate me. I can disagree with you, you can disagree with me, and the world doesn't fall apart. That's what we're looking for. If you've attracted a narcissist into your life and you're at the end of the relationship, you have to understand that it's very, very normal to go through a grieving process. So grieving a narcissistic relationship, even if it was one-sided, and even if it was terribly, terribly abusive, is normal. Now, recently, one of you guys contacted me and asked me about this idea because she thinks she's crazy, right? She wrote me an email. She's asking me the questions like, I should be happy. I ended this relationship and I should be so proud of myself. But why do I, after weeks now, it was like almost a month later, I am finding that I'm so depressed. I'm actually despondent. I don't understand. I feel like my body is aching. You know, going through withdrawal from a narcissistic relationship or any relationship is very similar to going through withdrawal from nicotine, from alcohol, from any other addiction. When you lose yourself inside a relationship dynamic and you don't have a sense of self, and your whole idea is wrapped up in keeping this other person happy, and that's where you're getting your fix from. If I can make him happy, then I'll be happy. If I can make my kids happy, then I'm happy. If I can make her happy, then I'm happy. And all of a sudden, that person or that thing that you relied on through the relationship to make you happy is gone. Literally, every cell in your body is, feed me, where'd it go? Where's my happiness? You feel it, you're shriveling up inside, and that is a real feeling. That's a real state of being. So A, you're not crazy if you feel like you're missing the narcissist. You're not crazy. B, it's absolutely normal to feel this aching, and this aching after a narcissistic relationship has ended. And I would say, when we're dealing with love addiction and we're dealing with codependency and we're dealing with consciously ending a relationship with the narcissist, it becomes very, very complicated because, in my humble opinion, just my humble opinion, these relationship dynamics when it comes to love addiction, codependency, and being attracted to a narcissist, in my opinion, goes back to something that went awry in childhood. Because if you learn to respect yourself, if you knew what a healthy boundary was, if you knew where the line was between you and other people, if you knew how to honor yourself, if you knew that it was good to say, that was a red flag, and I don't know if I agree with that person, and I love that person, but I'm not willing to cross that personal boundary line to violate and abandon myself, right? So self-love is all about learning to not abandon the self, which means that you have to learn to not abandon how you feel, which means you have to learn to not abandon your red flags, which is one of the things that I teach in my programs, and I'll be teaching it on my cruise in April if you guys choose to come along. Anyway, I digress. So, you're not crazy, and this is normal. But what I want you guys to be aware of is what I call, just my humble opinion, just what I call it, the narcissistic vacuum. Because when you have been abused by a narcissist, the pain that it creates after you've been discarded and after you're watching this guy or this girl all over frickin' Facebook, screwing around, flying all over the world, having sex with everybody, drinking it up in bars and clubs, and just having a good time and acting like you never existed. This is a person that you would given your life for, and within 12 hours, they're on Twitter and they're on Pinterest and they're all over the place, Instagram, putting on this face like they are absolutely perfectly okay without you. It is so dreadfully painful, okay? Now, that aching creates what I call a vacuum. And if you're not very careful, what'll happen is, even though you're happy you ended this, I'm getting itchy, always do. Even though you're happy you ended this narcissistic relationship, right? On some level, what'll happen is all of this loneliness will kick up. And it begins to feel almost like a tornado. And it becomes like this emotional vacuum. And if you're not very careful, right, that energy, right, creates such a strong gravitational pull. And what kind of energy being do you attract, dear one? You attract an energy being that is equal to the one you just kicked out the door. So what we want to do is make sure that you are addressing this lack of self. We want to make sure that you are addressing this lack of self-love. Well, yes, a lack of self-love. We want to make sure that you are addressing the divine inner child. We want to make sure that when this relationship ends, you know with every cell of your being, it is time to do your work. It is time to go inside. It is time to find your authentic self. It is time to realize and recognize what you deserve. And being abused by a narcissist or being a codependent in a relationship or being in a love-addicted relationship is no good, no bueno. It's no good. It will leave you shriveled up. It will leave you confused. You will not be able to make rational decisions. You will feel like your mind is full of cobwebs. You will feel like you're being pulled around by your nose. No good. We need clarity. And so, if you are at this point where you have ended a narcissistic relationship and you are starting, although you're happy on one side, right? Consciously you're happy, right? So one side of your brain is like, good, this is good, this is good. But the other side of your brain is going, no, I'm so lonely. Why is he so happy without me? And you're feeling so lost and so full of toxic, grieving, negative emotion. It's time for you to connect to your higher self. It's time for you to have a conversation with your prefrontal lobe, or allow your prefrontal lobe to get activated, all up here. It's time for you to acknowledge that the wounds are real, but you do have the power and the ability to connect to a higher state of awareness. So get in touch with your higher self. Ask your higher self for guidance. Talk to yourself. Tell yourself it's okay that you feel this way. Tell yourself that you must stay out of relationships for a while until you have learned to honor your divine self. Because your divine self will give you all the information you need to attract what you really, really want into your life. The problem is we ignore our divine guidance. Why? Because we have been taught to ignore. I sounded so New York there. Taught. Anyway, dear ones, it is what it is. I'm from New York, born and raised in Queens, New York. What are you gonna do? So anyway, we have to learn. We have to learn how to appreciate our childhood and understand that if we were taught that our feelings don't matter, there's no way in hell until we wake up. Until we wake up, and I hope this video is helping you wake up. No way in hell until we wake up and we realize what went wrong, so that we start paying attention to our internal, beautiful, divine guidance system. Because once you start understanding that red flags are like red stop signs, stop, danger, 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 don't go there, think about this. Once you start to honor your boundaries, you can start navigating this vibrational reality, right, this energetic reality with ease. I'm telling you, dear ones, it is possible to connect to your divine inner child. It is possible to connect to your higher self. It is possible to learn to beat negative self-talk. It is possible to free yourself from codependency, love addiction, and to stop attracting narcissistic people into your life. It is my promise to you. So thank you for all your questions. Thank you for all your emails. I love you all so much. If you are here, you are on the enlightenment path. You are looking to understand yourself and to gain more mind control and of your own mind. And as you do this, you not only heal the vibrations of yourself, but you help to emit healing vibrations that affect us all. And I just want to thank you for that. Namaste, dear ones. Until next time.